Hey guys, welcome to my very first episode of hopefully many, a segment called, I like to call Business One Take, where hopefully each week going forward, I'll be able to give you guys a one take, candid conversation talking about topics ranging from opening a business to running a business, where I'm going to draw upon things I've learned in the past, or whether through school and the jobs I've had, as well as running my own business, Gamers Heaven, here for the last 5.5 years or so. And what I hope to do for this is, give you guys just information that you may not have known before. And by all means, I'm no expert in any of these fields, just giving you guys my point of view, as well as my thoughts on certain aspects of, the business plan and running a business that I kind of wish I had known during, but as well as, sometimes you learn from other people's experiences. So with that said, hopefully I can keep the series going on for several weeks and, just in the future going ahead for you guys, as well as I'll dedicate other videos throughout the other weeks to answer your guys' question and just go through other things about my life and so forth. So things like answering why am I franchising my business Gamers Heaven, to just, who I am. And that way, you guys can get a better idea of who I am and kind of what's gone into building my business in the last 5 years. But without further ado, today's episode, I want to go ahead and talk about kind of like the first part of how to develop your business, especially your business plan. I think a lot of people tend to skip over the what is your business going to be section. So a lot of people that I've seen online, they'll talk about come up with a business idea. All right, from there, go, and then go figure out the financing, figure out the documents you need to sign, the incorporations, et cetera. And I feel like a lot of people tend to just kind of skip past the initial idea portion. So for example, in my case, where I decided to open up, my gaming lounge space, some people may just be like, I want to open up a game store, and they just go with it from there and not really think about the things that should go into that idea formation. Because why are you coming up with this idea? And the thing is, every business comes to be because they're trying to fulfill a different need that they perceived that's needed or they find out. So whether it's from pharmaceuticals to inventions to services, et cetera. And I like to kind of dive deep into kind of just more things that you should think about when developing your actual business idea. And first thing I want to do is actually kind of go over what I learned, not just in school, but I actually had to apply several times when I worked at my last company, as well as running the store, and just kind of come up with a SWOT analysis. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's pretty much an analysis that you do based on a project or a task that you're trying to complete. So what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? So when you're considering opening a business, so whether you're developing a new product or service or trying to open up a brick and mortar location or a new service, what are your personal strengths that are going to make you succeed? So what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? So do you lack knowledge in something? Do you lack skill in something? Do you not have the ability to make a certain product or whatnot? But what are the opportunities? So let's say you come up with an idea. What are the upsides? So what are your potential hopes and dreams of taking that idea somewhere and stuff? And then what are your threats? So what's the risk of you doing this business? What are the things out there that are going to potentially hamper your business from succeeding or even getting off the ground? And that way, no matter what idea you have, you can immediately assess whether or not it's viable or not just from thinking that way. So for example, I feel like I'm going to open up a coffee shop. Well, what are your strengths? Well, I'm an experienced barista, and I've worked part-time at Starbucks and other places before. Again, hypothetical here. But I feel like I can do it better and stuff. So I think I have more of a personality. I feel like I'm being held back from the restrictive measures that they set in the ingredients. So I feel like I can make better coffee. Well, what are your weaknesses? Well, I don't necessarily have the resources or the marketing know-how to get my word out about my new place. I personally don't know kind of just in general the ins and outs of running a brick and mortar store. But okay, those things you can work through. What's your opportunity? Well, if I open up my own coffee house and it succeeds, I can end up, operating and owning my own store. All the money that would come in from the coffee, instead of going to Starbucks Corporated, will be coming to me, and I can make a living off of what I love to do. But what are your threats? Well, I'd be competing, depending on where I go, I'll be competing against Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, all these other places that serve coffee, diners, restaurants, people at home. And so I have to figure out, well, why should they come to me? And that's a basic use of it. Now, SWOT analysis goes a long way towards other things and other projects, but I tend to like to, when anytime someone comes to me with a business idea, especially my family members and whatnot, I just like to go through those steps with them, because is it a viable business plan? We like to go through in there. And another thing to consider too is you have to see what category you're into. Are you developing a new business to fulfill a need? Are you developing a business to improve something? So are you improving the quality of life or anything like that? Or are you developing something that you think, so that it doesn't exist out there, but you think that there's a need for it in the market? And the thing is, all the above is the same. Now, there's more to that as well too, but what went into my business personally is that game stores and shops have existed for years, decades throughout this country. So you have your board game shops, your tabletop stores, your comic book shops, your LAN centers, your arcades, they've all existed. But the thing is though, they've always only fulfilled certain niche needs. And growing up as like a multifaceted gamer, nerd, who liked diverse cultures and whatnot, there was never a place I can go that fulfilled everything. And it wasn't until I traveled abroad in Japan and visiting South Korea and China, where I saw literal districts dedicated to the fandom and the culture of this thing. And they completely treated nerd culture over there very differently than we did here. And it was the first time in many years growing up where, and this is back in college, I'm going to say too, that I felt like I was at a place where I belonged. And when I came back to the United States, there was nothing like that around. And I had to wait for annual convention shows just to get a little taste of the camaraderie, being able to cosplay, looking at, seeing all the different variety of products, events, etc., to experience that. And then once the convention was over, I had to wait for another convention show, travel around, or wait another year. And, I kind of hope that, someone one day would maybe develop a place that would encompass everything on one location, not be so focused on one aspect or another. And, years went by, I eventually developed my own business plan, and I won't dive into that later, but I personally just got tired of waiting for someone to do it. And so for me, in my mind was, do I have the ability, do I think I have the idea, the right mental state to execute something that's going to go beyond what's existed in this country, break the norms, break all the social and business norms that have existed? Do I think I can do it? And that's kind of where it came to be. And I did my own SWOT analysis on it. And I determined that, my business, the idea that I have in my head has not been done yet. It's been done in pieces. People have experimented with like one or two things, three, like different combinations of different portions of it, but no one's done kind of the holistic plan that I had in mind. Even the big corporations, even while I've been doing my business, the big corporations that have like big corporate sponsors, collegiate backers, and everything like that, multi-million-dollar budgets, they're still single-minded focused arenas and locations and whatnot. So they're still only catering to specific groups of people. And it's still not bringing that, I don't want to even say convention show, but the whole experience over. But I digress. But that's on me here. And so for you, I encourage, when you're developing your business plan, you really need to figure out, if you're just going to copy someone, what is it that you're really doing then? Are you just hoping for a quick cash grab, or are you really trying to make a career out of it? And honestly, that actually goes right into, why are you doing your business? You need to figure out exactly who you're making the business for and why you're doing it. Is it to enrich yourself? Is it to give yourself a stable life doing something you love? Are you hoping to just do a quick flip? For the people out there who just like to flip businesses, like they flip houses, there's that bunch out there too. You need to first figure out who your target demographic is, and who you're doing it for. That's really important because you need a focal point to, pretty much once you have that focal point, it will help, guide you in terms of your decisions that you make along the way. Without that focal point, you'll be surprised on how many people don't have that, and they get lost in between, or they get complacent, or they get stagnant. And in terms of being stagnant too, you need to determine, like, where do you want to take your business? Like, what's the goal of your business? Do you just want to get open and established and just getting by? And the thing is, a lot of people are like that. Some people are just out there not to get rich, but they just want to make something that helps them get by, and then just be happy with what they're doing, and that's fine too. But if your goal is to keep growing your business into multi-locations, or a really big one to generate high income, then that needs to be your focal point, not here. If anything, the step down here is like your first step into getting here and stuff like that. And so really just having a direction is key, because a lot of times people are just going to go in. It's like, I'll bring the coffee shop idea again, just because it's kind of just simple for me to think about. It's like, I'm just going to open up a coffee shop, and that's what I'm going to do because that's what I love. Well, where are you going with it? What are you going to do to make yourself stand out? What is your goal with your coffee shop? Is it just to have one really good niche location? Is it to have multi-locations? Do you want to be your own staff member? Do you want to have staff one day? All of these things have to be in there, because you need to determine if you can get there, as well as the decisions you make in terms of how, what you decide to grow and how to diversify your business in general are all going to lead to that. And that just comes full circle back to when you're making your business idea, you just need to have a proper vision. Because I get a lot of people who come with, like, I have this one idea, and it's just like, all right, but is that just an idea you want to just quickly flip, or is that something you want to actually develop out? And I'm actually really shocked at sometimes on how people don't actually look into everything that they can. They just see, like, a lot of people out there tend to copy others, which is fine, but you really should do something a little bit different. So if you're out there, for example, at game shops, like, I look at game stores all the time, and I'm just seeing, like, a lot of people come up to me telling me, I'm surprised you don't do this, I'm surprised you don't do this, and I'm just like, well, why? Well, so-and-so store does this, so-and-so does this, many stores have done this for years and everything, but at the end of the day, I always tell them, well, I'm not trying to be like them. I'm not trying to be like a shop like that. I'm trying to be something else and something different. And it actually shocks me to this day. So many people still don't get, those people who are entrenched on what a game store should be they still have a trouble seeing what the business I made is. They can't see beyond their scope. And I really encourage all of you who are looking to innovate your own businesses and innovate out there to really change things, that is a challenge, that paradigm, and that's the word I was trying to remember during this whole conversation, a paradigm shift in terms of how people think. So many people have thought this way for so many years, and for you to change it is going to take a while. It is going to be an uphill battle, and trust me, it's been an uphill battle for me for the last 5 years, and I still have a long way to go. But eventually, for me, I kept that focal point in terms of my dream of bringing Akihabara to America as my main focus the entire time in the last 5 years. And because I kept consistent with that, I've gotten, am I close? No, I'm still pretty far, but I can say that the needle, has always been going, back and pointing in that direction. And so I really encourage you guys to just find your reason to do that. And then lastly too, I'd just like to remind everyone to just remember who you're doing it for. Whether it's for yourself, your family, your friends, or the community in general, just remember to keep them in mind when formulating your business, to make sure that it does encompass them. That, at the end game, the end goal of that very business is to take care of what you're trying to take care of. And I won't fault you if it's for yourself or whatnot. Just make sure you have a direction, and then you go and just go for it. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to generating ideas, but hopefully, I was able to give you guys just some ideas and a different way to think about how to analyze your, your own business idea and whatnot. But going forward, I will be talking about, I will be kind of discussing about how to think about, like, how do you finance your business? How do you start up if you're doing brick and mortar, if you're doing an idea, things I've seen kind of back and forth, things I've seen that work, things I've seen that doesn't. We'll go into those topics and stuff. And if there's other conversations and topics that you would like me to have with these one takes, please go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll do my best to go ahead and schedule that in either as a one take, or I'll edit that, or I might even end up doing a live stream. So I plan on doing live streams with you guys, just have discussions about kind of just in general, because I know I have a lot of franchisees that are hoping to do like meet and greets with me and stuff. That actually might be a good way to introduce myself. But again, if you have any other questions, guys, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you found this video helpful, please let me know by leaving me a thumbs up, as well as another comment down below, and also subscribing and hit that notification bell. I know this first one was kind of rough, but I'm hoping to kind of get better as I go, and as I do more of these videos for you guys, and I really hope that these help. So whatever time of day of the world it is that you are watching this video, please have a good day, good morning, good evening, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care.